Cities are places of magic. They are places that really people have for 5,000 years come to pursue their dreams, and they create remarkable places. There's some really bad parts about cities, but there's some remarkable places that don't exist. And every city has its own DNA in that regard. And I think one of the mistakes we were making in the 50s and 60s and 70s is that we were trying to build cities that were alike, more than say this is the DNA of Sydney, and we need to build from that DNA. It needs to be different than Pittsburgh or New York, and that's what is really. There's a renaissance in cities happening now, right, all across the world. Really, it is about a vision. It is about imagining something that doesn't exist. So we had thousands of acres of steel mills, and we imagined a riverfront park. I grew up in Pittsburgh, and my mother always said to me when I was going out to play two things: be home before the street lights come on, and she would always say, never go near those rivers, because if you go in those rivers, you're going to melt, because they were polluted and there were factories all along them, and then they all went away. And we captured the riverfronts, and we built miles of riverfront park, and we partnered with developers to build really vibrant, exciting places that had housing and retail and offices, and it's a place where companies want to be. Google's moved to Pittsburgh, and it's a place where people want to go live, work, and play. And so that's the opportunity for cities. Even a city like Pittsburgh that had declined so badly, we were able to now make it, by the Economist magazines, measure the most livable city in America. And so that's the challenge of leadership, is to say we need to take these risks to continue to have our city grow and become a world-class city. We need to continue to take these risks. City has to have a value structure. It needs to know what it wants, what will drive the city to greatness, to continue to be a great city. And so that discussion that goes on with the developer is a public and private discussion. They both have an interest in creating something of value, not to go to the lowest common denominator. And Sydney is a testament to that. I mean, if I look at the Opera House, as painful as it was maybe building that, somebody had a grand vision of creating a remarkable building. If I look at your parks, the Botanical Gardens and Hyde Park, 200 years ago, somebody set aside property that has had huge real estate value. Same in Central Park in New York City. Huge pressure to develop that. And yet there was a vision to say, no, this is going to create real value for our city. How you treat your waterfront. You have one of the most spectacular waterfronts in the world. How you treat that. Is it an afterthought, or do you treat it as really places of magic and create great public spaces along that waterfront? Some places I've seen here in my runs in the morning are really spectacular. Your natural attributes here, where it's located and what it looks like, are spectacular. And some of the buildings and the parks, even look at Martin's Place here and the activity going on here in the middle of the day. This speaks to a very vibrant, world-class city.